and welcome back to our show. For the next couple of months, I will be using this platform to allow viewers to get to know and interact with our 2020 Democratic political candidates, as well as discussing the current issues. In order for us to be the change that we want to see in this world, we have to be educated and politically active. On the Hagir show, we are trying to do our part to raise awareness. And today I am honored to have Jackie Baker with us here. Jackie, thank you for joining us. Can you please introduce yourself and tell our listeners a little bit about you?
Yes, first of all, thank you so much for having me on today. It's a pleasure to be here. I am Jackie Baker. I'm running for State Senate in District 23. I live in Susquehanna County with my husband and my 3 children. And so this is my first time running for office. I've been politically active since the beginning of 2017. And now I'm ready to head to Harrisburg and make some real positive changes for the people in Pennsylvania.
And I am sure you will do that. I had the pleasure and the time to look through your campaign, and I was really, impressed with the issues that you are hammering, what you are going to bring. Can you please talk to us about your campaign? What issues are important to you?
Yes. There are so many issues that are so important to me. I have my bachelor's and master's degree in education. So
Uh-huh.
public school and education, investing in education is extremely important to me. I know what teachers need when they're in the classroom, what their pupils need. And now, especially during COVID, our schools need some upgrading, some air quality improvements, and things like that. Jobs and raising the wages for people is very, very important as well. I know how difficult it is. I live in a rural area, and it's really difficult to find jobs without having to travel an hour or 2 each way. Some people even drive 3 hours to get to a job. So in rural PA, we need jobs, good paying jobs. And I think that as we move toward more green energy in the future, that that'll be something that will be providing plenty of jobs for our hardworking Pennsylvanians. So education, jobs, and the third biggest one would be our healthcare system.
Mhm.
It's improvement. Rural hospitals are disappearing, and we are traveling 1 to 3 hours to get to a hospital or to find a specialist, or just for any kind of regular, important screenings and things that you need. So and we don't have public transportation in rural areas, so it makes it really difficult for people, veterans and seniors especially, to get to their health appointments. So we need to lower the cost of prescription drugs. We can do that. We can put some caps on things that people use every day, like insulin. And so those are my top 3. There are very many, many more issues that I'm concerned about that I would like to work on in Harrisburg.
And there is you talked about education, and I know we talk about this a lot. Having the gerrymandering, having a school district that are not providing the same equal education for the same people that live maybe one street from each other. And you discussed the role. I had Michelle, who's running also with you, and she's an amazing, amazing woman also. Introduce the role of Bill. And before we start, we were talking about the internet. There is a lot of issue that need to be addressed. How do you see yourself making this change, and why you think you can do it and your opponent can't?
Are you referring to the internet specifically?
Uh-huh.
Okay. My opponent,
But
what's that?
in general, all the issues and
In general. Okay.
affecting.
Okay. Well, I was going to start with the internet because
Okay.
we do call that rural PA problems. It's extremely difficult to do anything in rural PA if you don't have internet service or cell phone service. It's extremely hard to take classes or to look for a job or anything without our internet service. My opponent just recently said that it's very complicated about trying to fix rural broadband, and that it's very expensive. Um, but our livelihoods all depend on it. And I'm sure that that is something that we can do. We have to move into the 21st century. And that's one of the problems, that these things are not happening. And yes, Michelle and I went to Emerge together. We've known each other quite a while now, and we work together. And the Rural Bill of Rights really hits home. I signed on to it because those are all the issues that we need taken care of immediately in order for our economy, for our health, for our future. And we have been ignored in Pennsylvania for way too long. Pennsylvania's falling behind, and all the states around us are moving forward with new things to bring in revenue, raising their minimum wages, and Pennsylvania is doing absolutely nothing. And I am tired of it. I am fed up with waiting and waiting. So, excuses of just saying, well, I don't know, or it's expensive, that's not good enough for the people of Pennsylvania. We can do it. We can put in. There's plenty of ways that we can get more Wi-Fi access, more cell phone towers. I know locally.
Job for that matter.
What's that?
More local jobs for that matter.
Yes, absolutely. And we need local jobs here. Our infrastructure would be another great place for jobs. Roads and bridges in Pennsylvania are not getting the engineering attention that they need. They're falling apart. So there's a lot of things we could do to get a lot of people working with a lot of great jobs. And the Rural Bill of Rights is really important because we do feel like we're ignored in the middle of Pennsylvania when we have to travel, and it takes you 15 minutes just to get to a grocery store and 15 minutes back. And so there's a lot of things that are specific to rural PA, but a lot of issues that cover the entire Commonwealth. So I have been waiting to see Pennsylvania move to do things that are going to help PA, the hardworking people. And from what I've been watching, what I've been seeing for so long now is that the legislators that are in Harrisburg, they're looking for ways to tax us, the hardworking people, all the time because our state revenue is so low. And I'm really tired of that. I know how it is to live paycheck to paycheck. And I know how many elderly people and veterans and all kinds of people who we can't afford any more of these property tax raises and different things like that. And every time I see the response from the legislators in Harrisburg, it's always, how can we tax the people more? How can we add more taxes to the people? Can we tax your automobile? Can we tax your gasoline? And meanwhile, the largest corporations that operate in Pennsylvania don't pay a dime in Pennsylvania state taxes. And I think that is just not fair because our small businesses, our average, everyday, hardworking person, we can't keep trying to fill up the revenue in this Commonwealth. We need to close the Delaware loophole, and we need to pass a fair share tax so that these largest corporations that are using our infrastructure for their, to make their profits, that they kick back a little back into our revenue so that we have money to pay for these things that we need. So that's, I feel like the legislators there are just not doing anything. Many people I speak to feel unheard, ignored. When they do call their legislators' offices, they don't get a response. They don't get an email back. I personally have been hung up by secretaries in our representatives' offices, and that is no way to treat the people of Pennsylvania. So I am here to listen. As a teacher, I've always been involved in public service, taking care of the children, taking care of the families and the communities that I've been in. Um, I know there's a lot of people, there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of people hurting, and they're tired. They're tired of waiting for something to happen. So I think it's time for some new legislation, new legislators, including me in the PA Senate, so that I can help everyday hardworking Pennsylvanians.
And I think this is the key word this year. We all have heard it. Our listeners and everyone watching us now have heard it, and I think that's why it's important to learn about your candidates who are running this year. They're all people just like you and I who are tired of hearing things and not seeing anything done to them and to their community. And one of our candidates before, she said there is a difference between a politician and a public servant. And I think that should bring this all up to for you to see it. A public servant, who that's the person like Jackie, like all the candidate that we brought here, who wanted to help their community, who wanted to provide services, allow us to use their talent and ability to build a community. Just a regular politician who comes every 2 years or every 4 years, for that matter, to just sell you things that you want to hear. That is not going to happen. And what you said about taxation, I really want you to, and this hit like it hit right where we were discussing today. We had a huge discussion about taxation, the fear that Trump is putting into people, the fear that Republicans are putting into people, saying that Democrats are going to tax you. We try to explain to them, if you are a working family, a working mom, single mom, you name it, even a small business, you are not going to be affected. The increase is going to be for someone who's making more than 400,000 as a salary. That's directed toward the corporation, and that what Jackie is just telling you. People paying, we work, we cannot afford, we're not even making the bare minimum, and we're the one holding the state, and not just this state, all 50 states. And the big corporation get bigger and they don't pay anything, and that's not fair. Alan, speaking about the veterans, you see that comment?
Yes.
He's an amazing fighter. He's just an all-rounded person, and I think he knows you from the exclamation part.
Well, thank you for your service, all veterans. That's so important. Our veterans are so important. I come from a family of veterans. My dad is retired Army. Husband served as a Marine. So I always say thank you for your service, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Let's get back to your campaign. We talked about the taxation. We talked about bringing jobs to your community. We talked about improving the education system, raising the minimum wages, and protecting the workers' right. So when you say improving voter accessibility and protection, what do you mean by that? I noticed that on your campaign, and supporting women right. I know those are two different topics, but to me they go hand in hand.
um,
Especially after the passing of Justice Ginsburg.
right. Um, the passing of Justice Ginsburg is very upsetting to
Mhm,
many people that I know have taken it extremely hard because they're very worried. As women or as members of the LGBTQ community,
mhm,
there was a lot of fear that rights are going to be taken away, women's rights and LGBTQ rights.
mhm,
I said that I am in this fight for them. I'm just going to kind of go with this issue for a moment.
mhm,
In Pennsylvania, there are no laws that prevent discrimination of our LGBTQ people. There are no laws at all protecting them. They can be evicted, they can lose their jobs just because of being LGBTQ people. Um, I cannot believe in the year 2020 that we still allow people to be discriminated against legally with no laws to protect individuals. So that is one of the major, I'm thinking off of, the great RBG. They're very concerned, and I am with them. If I'm elected, I will pass legislation. I will write it, I will pass it so that no one has to live in fear that they're going to lose their job, that they're going to be evicted, or if they're a victim of a hate crime, they need to be able to follow through and have the police handle that. And there's nothing on the books about these. And for me, that breaks my heart. Um, and that needs to be changed right away. And of course, women's rights, major concern as well. I I am a pro-choice, progressive woman, and I think the woman deserves her opportunities in life to make her choices with her body, her jobs, her future. And it's very concerning, and I hope we don't go back 40 or 50 years. Um, we need to elect more women. We are 51% of the population, and we are only, like in Pennsylvania, only up to about 24% represented in the legislature right now, and even less in the United States Congress. So we need women. Women know these issues. We can bring them to the table, and we can talk about what needs to be done. And we need to work together to make some real change. Um, this completely two-sided thing is getting nothing done. With this bipartisan, we need bipartisan, work. We need to work together for the benefit of all people. That's why I'm in this, is to help people. I am a public servant. I'm not in this. I'm not a politician. I am a teacher, and I'm concerned about the future. I'm concerned about our children. I'm concerned about the environment. And there's just a lot of work that needs to get done. So I hope that we can all find ways to work together and make real progress for Pennsylvania.
I cannot believe that in 2020 we are still discussing women's rights. And I feel, and I know you feel this way, that's why you're here. Feel we, in the past 4 years, we regret, like maybe what, 100 years since women were allowed to vote. We're back to that point.
Yeah.
And we cannot keep waiting or apologizing for being women, or apologizing for being, at a different race or ethnicity or sexual background. This needs to stop. Like we can't continue apologizing. We have to fight. And like I always say, I am so glad that there are so many strong, powerful women running this year. And we have to support them, not because it's what you call it, charity. This is our right. This is their right. They're out there fighting for us, fighting so we don't go back and to move forward. And with this administration, we're seeing already fear. And fear is always being used as a tactic, but it is more now. I'm not sure if you feel the same way, or it's just me.
No, I'm tired of the fear tactics.
Mhm,
We are supposed to be the United States of America, and we're supposed to help one another and understand e pluribus unum. Out of many, one is our motto for the United States.
mhm,
Out of many, one. We come together as one people. Um, I was very, very concerned in 2016
yeah.
about what may happen. Very concerned. And when President Trump did become elected in 2016, I just was worried about everybody's rights,
Mhm,
women's rights, veterans. I've been worried about everybody. So in January of 2017, that's when I really jumped into my political activism,
mhm,
because I said I could sit back and complain and wait
mhm,
another 30 years to see if something will get done,
yeah,
or I can jump in and work hard and try to make a difference. And I started by joining women's groups, and getting people aware of the issues that are important, to women, that need to be addressed. Um, a lot of times they're just not even mentioned, the
mhm,
issues that are specific to women. I know what it's like to be a hardworking mom when you work full time. You've got children at home, and it's very, very difficult for parents right now, especially with COVID.
yeah,
Trying to juggle working from home, schooling. There's a lot going on, and a mom holds all the balls in the air all the time. Like, you keep the world running, and we do. I have met the most incredible women candidates. We really do have wonderful candidates,
yeah.
compassionate women, strong women. In fact, some of their stories are the reasons why I also decided to run. I was elected to the state committee, the Democratic State Committee, in 2018.
Mhm,
And through that experience, I get to hear from other representatives and state senators, and hear their stories. And they all have personal reasons, and thought I'd never run for office, but yet here I am doing it. And so they're very motivating, inspiring to me.
mhm.
And that's another reason why that I'm running, because there's amazing women out there, and we're ready to get to work. Um, if nothing's going to get done, we'll get in there. We'll do it. We'll get some action. Bring Pennsylvania into the 21st century. We're ready to work. We're ready to do it.
Bring the whole United States to the 21st century, and bring us back to that one great country that everyone used to look up to, and know that we are a leader, know that we care about woman right, human right. I mean, this is all like just right there.
Mhm.
And it is up to us. It's up to you, everyone that listening to us right now. It is up to you to change the future, to either make us or break us, basically. I repeat this every time, and I'm going to keep repeating it until after the election. Just vote. Go vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Like your family, your kids, your neighbors, everyone's life depends on it, because it does. This year is not like any other time. This year is it's a determined factor that either we are going to move forward and be united, or divided and have live with fear, hate, and all those emotions, the bad ones that we try to get rid of. It's all coming back. And unfortunately, when I see that there is 35%, Jackie, there is 35% of women that are still supporting Trump. I don't know why, but to all of you out there, you need to look and choose the people, not just the party. Even if you were Republican all your life, you have ethics, morals. The whole party should have values that they shouldn't just move away from to win the election. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely right. Um, we really need people need to be involved and forget about the R's and the D's and the I's and look at the person, look what they want to bring, the changes, hopefully positive changes to the communities. Um, because when someone's elected, they should be there to serve everybody,
Mhm.
whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, or whatever. Once you're elected, you serve everybody, and you should do the best job you can to make everyone's life better. Hate
Mhm.
and division is not going to bring us to that. Um, I've been so concerned, like when I think of it as a teacher, and
Mhm.
you bring your children into the class. The children come into the classroom. Um, we teach how you need to get along, respect each other, listen to each other. We don't want hate. We don't want anything like that. We try to teach our children how to get along, how to work together, how to play together. And then when they're home or out in the real world, that's all they're watching right now is hate and division and one side against another.
Mhm.
And we're not going to get anywhere like that. And that's not good for anybody. So I hope anybody listening, will go to my website and check out all the issues that I would like to work at. It's JackieBaker4PA.org. And these are issues that everybody um, faces on a daily basis. Putting food on the table. I know how hard it is. I know how expensive food is. I know how it is to hit hardship and wonder, how am I going to get through a difficult time? I've had to use food banks, and I've had to use WIC, and I've had to use food stamps at times, because sometimes unfortunate things happen to people, and you may not be able to work for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to make it paycheck to paycheck, that can just completely destroy you. You could lose everything so quickly. So especially with the health issues, we all need doctors, we all need our nurses, we all need places to get our physicals. We need people to take good care of us.
Mhm.
uh, I'm very, that's one of the largest things. Like, my last son was born 6 years ago, and I had to travel 2 hours in labor to get to a hospital that will deliver babies.
That is not
And this
acceptable.
is not safe, and this happens a lot. And these kinds of things that are attached to certain insurance, if you have insurance or you don't, I would really love to be able to see people have the chance to get health insurance for themselves that's not connected to your job, because a lot of times people have to change jobs, and you still need your health insurance. You still need those doctor's visits. You're still going to get sick. It doesn't matter what age you are, or what gender or race or anything. Everybody, needs to go to the doctor at some point. In Pennsylvania, the maternal mortality rate is on the rise. Well, when you're shutting down hospitals left and right, and especially small rural hospitals, women are traveling far to have babies. And unfortunately, some women and babies are dying because they're not getting the care they need fast enough. They can't get, um, or you can't go to a hospital. Now, I live on the New York State border. I have hospitals that are across the border that are 20 minutes from me. But according to health insurance, in order to deliver my baby, I had to travel 2 hours to Wilkes-Barre to have a baby. A dear friend of mine, high risk pregnancy, she had to go across the border because they said get to the hospital as soon as possible. It's an emergency. So she went to the New York State hospital because it's the closest one. Because it's not in her insurance, 12 years later, they're still trying to pay off the bill from delivering that child. Um, and that was a medical emergency where the mother and the child, their lives could have been in danger. So they chose to get to the nearest hospital. out of network, out of state, and now they have to pay an enormous debt for 12, 15 years. That's just not right. So I think those are kind of issues that women understand, how scary that can be. Um, so those are some of the things we need to think about. We need our rural hospitals. I was born in a small rural hospital, and now you have to go far and far, far to get any kind of health care. So
And it's just the hospital, even the pay, like you discussed the minimum wage, and that's not just for any job. Like there is critical jobs like teaching. Being a teacher to me is a front line. We put our kids' future in those teachers' hands. The least thing we could do is provide them with the ability to focus and not worry about having a second job just to pay their bills, or paying from their pockets, to support their classroom. And it is, to me, this is, we should be ashamed of just doing that, saying that. The same way goes for our nurses, our doctors, or our healthcare workers. Like you said, if you had a hospital in your area and they were paying those healthcare workers good pay, you won't be jumping and ending up with the high debt or driving 6 hours to get some care. And those are all issues that we can all relate to. If you never had a baby, I mean, you probably got sick. Even if you just had to go to the emergency room, you got your tooth pulled out. This is all, you're going to face a large bill. And what really shocked me that the people who need it the most, who are the one fighting against it, they're not knowing that by doing so, they're hurting themselves. The big corporation, the people that making millions and billions of dollars, I see why they can support, Donald Trump, or they can support your opponent for that matter. But just a common person like you and I should know their right and should know who to vote for. Um, I have the website listed. Jackie just mentioned it. We're going to share it again with all of you. Go to her website, go to her Facebook page, learn about her, know her name, and give her a chance. 2 years. If she's doing a great job, then yeah, you're going to elect her again. If she's doing a bad job, that's why we have voting. Vote her out, just like you are going to vote everyone that is just sitting there and doing nothing out. You have an amazing women running this year, not just men and women running this year. And you have the chance to change your future and your kids' future. So please take advantage of that. And Jackie, this is not a conditional, not your normal campaign where you can go out and knock on every door. You might do some knocking, but why people need to volunteer? Why people need to donate this year more than any other time for you and all the candidates?
I feel that this is our best chance to get in there and make a difference. We are running grassroots campaigns. We are not taking any major donations from large corporations. My opponent does. Takes thousands of dollars in campaign donations, and I am not. Therefore, I'm not beholden to one person over another, one company over another.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really a big, important difference. Many of us are just, we need every little $5, $2, $20 donation, whatever, will help us get our word out. We're basically needing to run ads, signs. We have some great county parties who are running, who are helping us get billboards, helping us to get our names out there. And during COVID, it's really been difficult. It's been a whole new way of thinking outside the box to get your message out.
Mm-hmm.
I have started doing some whistle stop tours through my counties, stopping at some of the parks along the way, highlighting our natural resources, and In our towns like Lewisburg, people were out enjoying and they were wearing their masks and social distancing. And so I think we could still get out there with masks and
Mhm.
social distancing and hopefully get to meet some more people. We will be out and about driving around, but it's really, really important if, any dollar, $1, $2, $5, anything that can be contributed to our campaign would certainly be appreciated, because it's basically about letting people know that I'm out there.
Yeah.
I'm running for them. I am running to make a difference in our families' lives in Pennsylvania, and not to get big corporations bigger profits. And so any little bit helps us.